In today's Sharp Saturday video, we're going to take a look at another knife from the folks at Kizlyar Supreme over in Russia, the Pioneer Camp and Bushcraft knife. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for trustworthy information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me for another Sharp Saturday video where every Saturday we take a look at, you guessed it, something sharp. So as I said today, the folks at Cass Iberia, who are the importers for the Kizlyar Supreme line of knives here in the U.S., were kind enough to send me one of their Pioneer Camp and Bushcraft knives. This one is in Sleipner steel. Maybe it's Sleipner steel. I don't know. We're going to take a really closer look at this down at the old stump top in just a minute. But before we do that, as always, I want to give a big thank you to the folks at Big Daddy Unlimited for making these Sharp Saturday videos possible. Big Daddy Unlimited is one of the best ways you can support the channel right now and save yourself some money by going to survivalonpurpose.com/BDU and getting your first trial 30-day membership at Big Daddy Unlimited for just 99 cents. If you like what you see and they save you money and you continue around past the first month, then they'll throw me a couple of bucks for introducing you. So if you save money, I make money. It's a win-win for everybody, and I appreciate your support. So anyway, that being said, let's take you down to the old stump top. We'll take a closer look at this knife. We'll talk about the specs and details of this thing, and then we'll get to doing some of that knife stuff. And by the way, they say this thing is really well balanced. You know we got to check that though, right? Okay. Here is the Kizlyar Supreme Pioneer Camp and Bushcraft knife. And see, it's got a laser engraved logo right there. On the other side says Kizlyar Supreme. Let's talk about the specs of this thing real quick. First of all, the overall length of this knife is 9 1/8 inches. The blade length is 4 3/4 inches, and it's flat ground, stone-washed Sleipner steel with a handle length of 4 1/4 inches. The thickness of the blade at the guard is 0.145 inches, so just over 1/8 of an inch. Blade steel again is Sleipner or Sleipner A. The 4 1/4 inch handle is made of Caucasus walnut, which is actually harvested really close to where they make these things in Russia. And it's available with a really nice leather sheath. And it's got some pretty cool kind of old school hunting style, kind of like a wood carving embossing on here. It says Hunter on top of it and fits in there pretty deeply. And you can either use a belt loop or you can use it as a dangler. Totally up to you on that. So pretty cool there. That's a very nice little leather sheath there. And the MSRP on this thing is about 130 bucks. But the street prices, I could find different prices between 90 and 100 bucks, something like that. So before we get to doing some knife stuff, let's talk real quickly about the Sleipner steel. I think it's Sleipner is the way you say it. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's made in Germany by Böhler Uddeholm, and it is developed to be a better D2. And what that means is that it offers many of the advantages of a high hardness tool steel like D2, while hopefully offering a much more stable edge and good wear resistance. So it should be able to take and hold an edge quite well. Has a little bit lower chromium content than D2, so it's not quite as stainless as D2, so you need to make sure you're gonna have to make sure you keep it oiled and keep it maintained a little bit to keep it from surface corrosion off of it. And finally, this knife features Kizlyar Supreme's lifetime warranty, so it's covered by a comprehensive manufacturer's lifetime warranty. So there's all the kind of specs and details. Let's get to doing a little knife stuff with this thing. So we'll set the sheath aside for a minute. So first of all, as you can see, at just 4 1/2 ounces, this thing is super, super light. It feels really good in my hand. But it's also very light, so it's going to be really good for doing tasks, camp tasks, and fine tasks. It's not going to wear you out. But it's got a long enough blade, I think, to really get something done. So it's not really a chopper, but what we're going to do, just for consistency's sake, I've got this piece of wood. I'm not sure what it is. I think it might be oak, but it's ringing like a bell. It's solid. We're going to do some chopping, not chopping. We're going to do a little cross batoning on this, carve a little bit, and see how well it does. And then we'll do some regular batoning. We'll carve some feathers like normal and just do some general carving, and then we'll see how well this spine scrapes, because it says it's got a sharpened spine, but it's not quite 90 degrees. I think it's got a little bit of a convex back on it, spine on it, but the edge is supposed to be able to scrape with them, so we're obviously going to check that out too. So, but first, we got to do the redneck sharp test, and so before I forget, let me just go ahead and get over here in the screen, and we'll just see. Oh my gosh, I can tell, man, it is Look at that. Would you just look at that? Wow. Try it with this part of the blade though. So I like to try it with every part of the blade. And man, it is, by golly. Oh man. So just look at that. Can you see that? I mean, you can see that patch. It is, this sucker's sharp. I'll give him that. Okay. Now let's try some cross batoning, and let's just do it, because I think that's a pretty good test of the strength of a blade. And also it has to do with technique, obviously, but I mean, I just want to show you that if you needed to use this knife beyond its intended capabilities or design capabilities, I'm always talking when I'm banging in these videos, and then when I do editing, I can't hear myself talking. So if you need to use this knife beyond its kind of intended design capabilities, just want to see if it's going to do that, if it's going to hold up okay. You know, if you had it in an emergency situation, you didn't have an axe or something with you. So part of that is just being really careful and not getting crazy. One of the reasons I like to make a wedge and kind of keep making it wider, so those little pieces that I cut out have somewhere to go and somewhere to relieve the pressure off of them, so it can get out of the way and make room for another one. And every time, you see, we're going down just a little bit further, a little bit wider, and a little bit deeper. So putting a lot of stress on it, kind of hitting it at an angle. I'm gonna make sure this blade's not bending and it's staying straight. I'm beating the heck out of it. Let's see if I can break this off now. It's pretty solid. I don't know if I can or not. Not yet. So we're gonna endeavor to persevere on this one, because I need one of these to split up for the video. So we're gonna keep on going. I mean, ideally I would just get a saw and do this, but I don't want to walk back to the warehouse, also known as my house, to get a saw. So we're just gonna keep doing this. Surely it'll break now, surely. There we go. Okay. So now we got, solid and no damage, none whatsoever. And I beat the heck out of it, as you can see. I usually don't even do that much with cross batoning. This is a thin, lightweight blade, but I kind of wanted to test it. So let's see how it's doing on the redneck sharp test now after that. And oh yeah, still, I don't want to shave the entire arm off, but still doing just fine. That's not that tough on the edge, to be honest with you. So. All right, let's do some regular splitting, because here in Georgia, I don't know where you're at, but it's been raining literally, man, it seemed like for the last 2 months, but it's definitely been raining a lot for the last couple of days. I mean, like, as my grandmama used to say, like a cow peeing on a flat rock. So let's see what we can do about splitting this out. Try to get to the center of it to get us some of that dry wood. And I know everybody that says, you know, I wouldn't do that kind of stuff to my knife, this is one of the knives that probably that really does apply to, because it is thin, it's not very heavy duty, it's got wooden handles. I mean, so it's everything that you don't want in a knife you're going to baton with on a regular basis. But anyway, let's just see what's happening here. Man, this is hard wood. Whew, okay. Definitely some hard wood. When you hear it, let's get us a couple of little wedges out of here. Now that we got down sort of to the inside, we'll go ahead and bang out a couple here. Can you see that? Maybe we'll just bang out that one. Maybe that'll be enough to get us going. Let's see. Let's see how well this thing will carve some curls. Just this one little piece here should be enough. Oh man. This terminal bevel, secondary bevel, whatever you want to call it, you know, this edge bevel on this full flat grind is really good. Okay, so not a huge demonstration, but just take a look at that. Look at those cute little curls, man. Those are like Shirley Temple curls. Very fine, very curly, and I was able to keep most of them on the stick this time because this blade is just so controllable because the weight of it, the balance of it. I mean, it's balanced. It says balance at the first finger, which is about right there. I mean, it really is very well balanced, very easy to use. You know, I don't have to really put any pressure to keep it in place. I mean, I'm holding it with just like my fingertips right now, and just got my thumb on it, and literally like that. And I don't even have it gripped in my hand. Just holding it gently. And this is some pretty tough, like I said, pretty tough wood, and I'm still able to get some good curls. Not able to get quite as much control because I'm not holding it on the whole hand, but still able to get some work done with it. So anyway, there's that. Now I'm gonna carve that off of here though, because you know where we're going next with this, right? I just happen to have you know what, before we do that, what you know is coming next, I want to try just a couple of basic little push cuts, because this spine is not like crazy painfully sharp, and I want to just see how well it would work. Just trying to do, you know, like maybe you're making a notch, right? And I don't have a little round stick, but we'll just use the other side of this. So we'll cut into there like so, right? And then there's your push cut. If you need to carve a notch for anything, maybe, you know, to make a tent stake, this is the best way I know to do it. You just, you know, a little bit of time and push with your thumb while you're holding it. And anyway, a nice notch and very comfortable, so it doesn't hurt my thumb. So now, you know what's next, don't you? I have retrieved my Fatwood out of storage. And this is the Fatwood I found like 7 years ago on video, and it's been stored in the climate controlled outdoor studio here at Survival on Purpose. So, and by climate controlled, I mean the climate in here is controlled by whatever the weather is. So I'm gonna carve off some of these little flat pieces here just to show you, even though it is literally wet, what we can do with it in just a minute. But that's just a little side benefit for the video. It has nothing to do with this knife. But let me go ahead and see how well this thing will actually maybe do some scraping on some Fatwood. Because so what we got here is the oxidized part on the outside, and then we got the, oh, smell that. Can you smell it? Just smell it. Smell it. We've got the, oh man, the aromatic goodness on the inside. We have a couple of curls here like that. So anyway, let's try some scraping. Because a good way to get some fire starting, tinder and fire starters, just to scrape some Fatwood. Okay, so another little bonus video. I got my hand, I hurt my hand, is the folks at Exotech were kind enough to send me one of their Fire Rod XLs. And let's try this, but without the Fatwood first, because I like to do it that way just to see how well we can do with just some straight up wood. And we're going to do that now. Let's just see. Ooh, I think there it goes. Is it going? Oh, almost. There it is. Okay. So they were kind of spread out, but it got the job done. Now then, let's see if the Fatwood responds differently. Okay, so this is an example of how I do. I'll show you this, how this wet Fatwood will burn. Like it's soaked in gasoline, man. So anyway, that's really just an example of how the way I like to use the Ferro rod is to press down on it and on my tender with the tip of the rod and scrape down into it. A lot of people say you want to hold your striker straight and pull back. That just doesn't work as well for me, so I always get a fire though, I'll tell you that. So anyway, that's the fire making and splitting and wood processing kind of examples from this Pioneer Camp and Bushcraft knife. But what about a little more scientific testing? Okay, so that was some of the practical testing, but I just realized I forgot to show a very important critical aspect of this knife and the practical testing. We scraped some Fatwood, but we didn't see how well it scrapes a Ferro rod, so I thought I would do that right here for you. So pretty good. It's not a this is a short Ferro rod. I like me some longer ones, you know that, but this one is actually pretty handy to keep in your pocket. So I guess we'll call that a pass as well. But like I said, here at Survival on Purpose, we are all about the science, and to that end, we maintain a state-of-the-art, cutting-edge knife testing facility. And one of the industry standard tests we like to do is to test the aerodynamic balance of every fixed blade. Almost every fixed blade. And to do that, we use the balance, orientation, and rotation device. So anyway, instead of me rambling on, let's just see how well this thing performs on the balance, orientation, and rotation device, shall we? Third time the charm. Ooh, apparently the third time's the wackaroo, so let's try again, but no damage. Oh man. Okay, one more time. Oh, you know what I forgot? Whoop, 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 whoop. All right, we're gonna call this one balanced. Okay, well, like I said, we're gonna call this one balanced. Performed pretty well on the balance, orientation, and rotation device testing. And so I gotta say, I like this knife. It's not a great big knife, but it's not a small knife. So it's not too big, it's not too little, it's not too heavy, it's not too light, but it's pretty stinking light. It's just, but it gets the job done. Very, very good edge on this thing, straight out of the box. I always like to see that. To me, that's an indication of the level of attention they pay at the factory. The fit and finish is really good. It feels good in your hand. It's a very simple, classic design knife, nothing fancy about it, but it very, very functional and just very, very useful. It just feels good and it works good in your hand. I almost included this one in the Kephart series because it is so functional, but it's just not a Kephart design. So but man, it is as Ethan Becker said about the original Kephart, this one just wants to cut. So anyway, I'll stop rambling. That's the Kizlyar Supreme Pioneer Camp and Bushcraft knife. Thanks again to the folks at Cast Iberia for sending me this so I could show it to you. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. I put out a brand new video every Friday and Saturday, sometimes random videos throughout the week. I've been told by a lot of people lately that YouTube is not doing a good job of alerting people when I put out a new video. Maybe it's not showing up in your feeds or whatever. If you click the subscribe button, I think it's probably right down here, and then you make sure you click your turn on all notifications and all that. It should do a better job. But if you want to make sure you don't miss anything and kind of maybe get some inside scoop and some behind the scenes news, I invite you to go to survivalonpurpose.com/subscribe. Get signed up for my weekly email newsletter. Every week I'll send you an email. It'll have links to the videos for that week. It'll have links to some older videos where you can see that I've always been a doofus, and there'll be some other news, offers, and deals and stuff. And occasionally, and coming up soon, we're going to have one, by the way. We'll do kind of like giveaways just for the newsletter subscribers. So anyway, I invite you to do that. Again, survivalonpurpose.com/subscribe. I really sincerely appreciate all your support for the channel. Once again, my name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.